Well, hello and welcome to the January edition of Shropshire Business Live TV. We have come to the fabulous Mercure Albrighton Hall Hotel and Spa near Shrewsbury to base ourselves here because this is where the Shropshire Chamber of Commerce Business Awards is about to be unveiled. Importantly, talking of unveiling, let's welcome my co-host for this show, Sian. Great to see you. Thanks for joining us. We saw you briefly a couple of episodes ago when you sat in our 90 Seconds with Hot Seat. But let's do the official introduction here. Who are you? What do you do? Why are you here?
So I'm Sian Brennan-Todd and I have recently moved to Shrewsbury from Australia. I've been living there for the last 6 years and I'm a presenter and a host. I also run a dance and cheerleading business. I used to be a professional dancer and I cheerleaded over in America. So I have a few different hats that I wear, but yeah, really enjoying living in Shrewsbury. It's absolutely gorgeous. Shropshire is lovely.
So doing this show, actually, it's a bit of a fact-finding visit for you at the same time, is it?
It is. I've been finding all about the hotel, which has been great. So yeah, it's been a really, really interesting day for me.
Well, we're going to be hearing lots more from Sian over the course of the show. As she said, she's been catching up with the owners of the hotel to find out its incredible history here, but also talking to the guys from Shropshire Council. We've got some real treats for you, and there's nearly 200 people due here at the launch. So let's go inside and talk to the Chamber and find out what's going on, shall we? So as you can see behind me, the stage is almost set, ready for the launch of the Shropshire Chamber Business Awards 2024. And I'm joined now by two people who know everything we need to know about it, Kelly and Rachel from the Chamber.
Hi, Carl.
Hello.
Kelly, I can't believe where time goes, because on Sbltv last year we were talking as setup was happening at the International Centre for the big gala dinner in 2023. And I remember you saying to me then that planning for the awards this year starts the day after. Maybe you nurse a hangover for 24 hours of it, but then it starts straight away afterwards, doesn't it? And that's literally what's happened, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. We have such great feedback straight after the event, so it's straight back to it for the following year, boxing off ideas, dates, everything.
So what's the purpose specifically of this launch event then?
So it's the official launch today, so we tell everybody key dates, key times, all the information they need to know about the evening. They have the opportunity to hear from previous winners, sponsors, judges, just so they get the whole feel and see how important it is and how they can be part of the evening.
And this is like firing the starting gun, really, isn't it? This is the first day when you can enter the awards, or you can book a seat for the dinner, or you can come on board as a sponsor, because you've still got some sponsorship packages available.
We do, yeah. We have 11 categories, so we do still have some sponsorship opportunities available, but this year it's slightly different. If you can think of something you would be interested in sponsoring, if you have a certain budget, have a chat to us and we can tailor make packages. So everything you see is not set in stone. We can always look for opportunities to involve as many businesses as possible.
And Rachel, you've been at the Chamber for a few years now, so you've seen a few of these Chamber Business Awards events. What's so great about it?
You know, it's a sellout every year. I think it's just the opportunity for everybody to come together and celebrate how great Shropshire is. There's lots of opportunities with all sorts of categories, so everything should be right for a business to apply for.
It always amazes me, people who've maybe never been to the awards dinner, and then they walk into the event and then maybe sort of underestimated how big it actually is.
Definitely.
It happens, doesn't it?
Yeah, is it 24 years?
It's 24th year this year.
Yes, no, that shouldn't I? But still 24 years, it's still got that wow factor, so couldn't be prouder.
And in terms of the planning, I know that it's organised by the Chamber, but it's important to emphasise, isn't it, Kelly, that you don't have to be a member of the Chamber to enter.
Absolutely.
The Chamber isn't sort of hands-on with the judging, you're just the facilitators, really, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. So as we said, anyone can enter, members, non-members, any size business. And again, for the judging, we put out an expression of interest. Again, members, non-members, so anybody could apply to become a judge. And you will actually be able to see from the new website who the judges are for the finalist judging. So you can see which business they're from. So if you've got any questions, you can meet them this evening. It's just a great opportunity.
Because I always get the impression, Rachel, that over the years, you know, I've been involved in this for a fair few years, you hear people talking about what goes on behind the scenes and how it's put together and who's making the decisions. Transparency is really important, isn't it?
Really is. It is over to Shropshire to decide. There's part of the Chamber team, really, we're there to administrate and just make sure everything's sort of happening in the background with the website, the bookings. We sort of coordinate the judges and where they go around the county, but it is really down to them who wins.
Well, I'll be talking to Neil Hooper, Managing Director of ACO, the reigning Company of the Year, a bit later. But we'll also be meeting, won't we, some people that represent all the different elements, people that have been sponsors, people that have been judges, because there's nothing better than hearing from previous winners or previous judges about what they get out of being involved, because it's not just choosing a winner, it's the businesses themselves get things out of it, don't
Yeah,
they?
and again, the feedback from the judging week is always fantastic, so it's great to hear what they did during that week, how it helped their business and just their involvement, and to hear it from them is far better than just us relaying that information.
So give us some key dates then. When's the awards dinner?
21st of June.
At the International Centre.
It is, yes.
It's the only place in Shropshire big enough to
I
hold
know.
it, isn't it? So that's when all the awards will be announced.
Yeah.
What about the key dates between now and then? So entries are open as of now.
Yes, so you can book to enter the awards as of now, you can book your seats and tables as of now. The closing date for entries is the 12th of April, and we will then be announcing the finalists on the 19th of April, and judging week commences the 13th of May.
And I think what's really good on the website this year, which has not happened before, is if you do enter a category, you can see, can't you, when that category is going to be
Yes.
judged, so make sure you're available.
Yeah, you've got plenty of notice and you've got all the information on there as well.
Excellent. Your work's done for now then. You can
I
breathe a
know,
sigh of
sit-
relief, can't
sit
you?
down now.
Thanks for catching up with me.
Thanks,
Thanks a
Carl.
lot. Now, for those of you who've never been to the Shropshire Chamber Business Awards, or maybe you have been and you want to see if you can spot yourself, let's have a reminder of what happened at the 2023 awards ceremony. Good evening. Welcome to Shropshire's Business Oscars.
The winner is the Shropshire Distillery.
Like Yaxley.
Faye Hudson from Reach.
Will you please give a massive Shropshire Business Awards welcome to the many voices of Deborah Stevenson.
And the winner of the Best New Business Award is Charlie the Vet.
SDE Technology.
Shrewsbury Colleges Group.
Stay Safe PPE.
Paverways Limited.
Jasminite Limited.
The winner of the Company of the Year is ACO.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attention and good night.
I'm here to talk to you today about the Higher National Diploma Healthcare Professions Support. Higher National Diploma has been awarded HTQ status and has been designed against occupational standards within the NHS amongst other employers, meaning by completing the H&D you already have the requirements to enter the job of your dreams. The courses are aimed at adult learners aged 18 plus who have recently left education, completing qualifications in the healthcare field, or professionals working in the healthcare sector who are looking to upskill or change roles within their career. So a HTQ is an alternative progression route into higher education. The course costs are significantly reduced in comparison to full-time university fees, and the studying takes place locally on site at Telford College in our state-of-the-art healthcare academy. Students will be given a placement mentor who can support them with their role both in the hospitals or during placement and on site here at Telford College, with personalised learning plans tailored specifically for students' needs. There are also a range of careers available, such as occupational therapy assistant practitioners, operating department assistant practitioners, maternity care assistants, community care assistants, and prehabilitation and rehabilitation.
I love Telford College because it's very accessible to myself, and I also like the inclusive learning. So like for example, the hospital ward, because it helps everyone else like myself also understand what it will be like when you actually go out on placements. The teachers are very, very helpful. If you don't understand, they will re-go through it again. They will give you extra support.
We're in our virtual and augmented reality suite. We have software which is linked to all our curriculum areas, boasting some of the latest innovation, especially around the healthcare setting, where we worked with the NHS to develop some clinical scenarios. Our students can access all this technology in different ways. So through our immersive headsets, they can be immersed into these scenarios where they can get a real feel of what they're trying to learn. Caves where you can be immersed with multiple people in that scenario so it feels like you're actually there. Through to a bit more augmented technology where it will help you guide you through different scenarios with teacher-led learning.
We have lots of different clubs and activities, things like driving theory, sign language clubs. There are also sports you can take part in, say recreational or competitive, and on-site facilities. We have a gym that students can use free of charge, 2 catering outlets that students can access, and of course Starbucks, which is discounted from high street prices.
Applying couldn't be easier. You can just go on our website, open an account and follow the simple steps. If you have any queries about any courses along the way, you can contact a member of our Student Services team, or alternatively you can visit one of our many open evenings and open events and you can chat to members of the staff.
I'm here with Eleanor, the operations manager at the Albrighton Hotel and Spa, where we're about to host the Shropshire Business Awards launch. And Eleanor, tell me, how long have you been working here?
I've been here since October 2019.
And where did you come from before? What drew you to this beautiful area?
Well, Dubai I came from. I was there for nearly 11 years, but we came here because my husband is from Shropshire. So, and then I landed at the Albrighton Hall Hotel.
And it is absolutely stunning, the grounds and all the hotel. Can you tell me, how much land do you have here?
We got about 10 acres all in, and some is woodland, some is area which obviously our gardener is keeping up with it. We got our own orchard, we got beehives, so we got loads going on, and of course the lake.
And it is absolutely stunning out there, gorgeous. Thank you so much. I think you're going to show us around all the best spots.
Yes, absolutely.
Brilliant. We're outside in these lovely grounds at Albrighton Hall. Could you tell us a little bit of history about these gorgeous buildings?
Yeah, so these goes back, I think the first record of the Albrighton village is in the Domesday Book, and then moving on, the first record again of this building would be about 1600, and it was purchased by a very important man at the time called Thomas Ireland, and he stayed in the family for quite a few years, and then moving on, so we have a lot of historic feature going back to that time, and then moving on so many years, he then became a blind school in 1950s. So we had Lord Blanket attended school here, and that was for quite a few years again, and then he was then bought, started as a restaurant and then moved on to be a hotel in the 90s, well I would say late 80s, early 90s, and then he was then purchased by the actual company, which is Amtil Investment, managed by Focus Hotel, in the 2007, if I'm correct.
Wow, and you say it used to be a school for the blind?
It is, yeah, that's correct.
And how long ago was that then? Do you know when that started or when that closed?
So I think it was 1950s. I know that Lord Blanket was here in 1960s. I want to say in the 80s, up until the 80s, and then they obviously changed a lot of things to then make it a hotel. As far as we know, we were told, because we still got some employees that have been working here since 1980s, and it was a restaurant to start with on this area here, and then later on they added bedrooms and so on.
And how many bedrooms do you have at the hotel now?
So we got 87 bedrooms. Majority would be in the main house, and as well as that wing which is called the Lakeside, and then we got 2 outer buildings. So yeah, 87 in total.
And you've talked about the historical features that you still have in the hotel. I think you might be showing us some of those. Whereabouts are we off to next?
So I'd like to take you to the restaurant, which is our oak room, which is a beautiful room, and of course the drawing room. This is our pride and joy, I like to say.
Oh, fabulous. Right, let's go for a walk. We've come for a seat in the Oak Room restaurant, and it is absolutely stunning. We have amazing woodwork around. Can you please give us a little bit of history and insight into this lovely room?
Yeah, so these are all original features. So all the woods that you see around here, fireworks, anything, even the tiles, everything is completely original. And it goes back pretty much in 1630, which is also 1630, the name of our bar. And the oak room obviously goes because it is wood panel, historical features. So we got a total of 2 fireplaces in here, and then the dining room is sort of expand to the library where there is another fireplace, which is equally very, very nice. Yeah, so we serve fine dining in the evening with a contemporary twist. We would have items like quails, octopus, which is very unusual. And yeah, beautiful experience, especially you need to think at night with the light dimmed, candlelight. It's a very nice feel, I would say, especially on a winter night when everything is sort of dark outside and you've got the candlelight.
And tell us, can anybody from the community come and eat here, or do you need to be staying at the hotel?
The restaurant is absolutely open to everybody. With a busy hotel, we do obviously ask the people to reserve, because if you think the guests who come here do tend to stay and eat here in the evening, whether it's here or in the bar. But we are open to anyone who would like to come and explore our menu. We're literally 5 minutes from the Shrewsbury station.
And you've talked about the menu. Can I ask, what is your favourite thing to eat in here?
Oh, that's a tricky one. So we've got, I would say the octopus is definitely my favourite starter. We used to have scallops with figs before, which was phenomenal. Now we moved to octopus. And I would say main course, the halibut, which is, again, really, really nice. And yeah, we look forward to welcome you all.
And where are we heading off to from here? What is the next venue that you're going to take us to?
It'll be the afternoon tea room, which is the drawing room, which is again another wood panel with fantastic, beautiful features.
Well, we are on to the next beautiful room here at Albrighton. So here we are in the drawing room. This is absolutely gorgeous. If you've talked about the original features that I can see in here, can you give us a little bit of history about this room?
Yeah. So this room, as the name goes by, drawing room, was used again to serve all the afternoon teas and dinner parties by the Ireland family. And later on throughout the years was used as a room to study as well, when it was back in the day that it was like a blind school, the National College of Blind. And yeah, nowadays we use it for afternoon tea, but we use it also for private parties, as well as maybe small wedding, that they like to be in a room and breathe in the history.
It is absolutely stunning, and I'm just going to have a little walk over by this fireplace. So can you tell me, this is again an original fireplace?
It is, yeah. It goes back again 1600, 1630, all kept in original, as well as the marble, all exactly as it was.
And I bet that gives a fair bit of heat, doesn't it, if it's on?
It does, yeah. Well, the plan is to have them all working. So we got about 7 in the entire hotel, and finger crossed we'll get them all working.
Oh, brilliant. And you touched on weddings. I know you mentioned that you run weddings here as well. So is that something that is often happening here most weekends?
I would say definitely most weekend, throughout the summer, throughout the winter. Plenty of space we've got, and we've got license in any room. So whether it's outside over the ground or whether it's in the drawing room as well, we got big suites up to about 300, I would say we can do. And yeah, this is something that we particularly like doing as well. And we only do 1 wedding a day, which that again is very unique and offers the couple an opportunity for their day to be just their day.
Fabulous. Well, this is a beautiful setting, and I really have enjoyed walking around and hearing all about the history as well. We have walked into the spa here, and I have to say it smells absolutely gorgeous. Can you tell me a little bit about what services you offer in the spa?
Yeah, of course. So we use the product from Spa, and we offer many treatments such as facial, massages, waxing, scrubs, body wraps, anything really. And of course, again, it's in-house and outside guest.
And I think you've got a gym in here as well, you said. So what sort of facilities have you got here in the gym?
So we got a gymnasium, and then we've got a swimming pool and thermal suites such as a steam room, sauna, and we even have an ice room, which is interesting.
That sounds lovely. Can I have a treatment, please, while I'm here? Thank you. Well, it smells gorgeous, and I'm sure every treatment here is fabulous. We've come down to the pavilion, and the lake is behind us, and you were talking just now about how you have wedding ceremonies in this space. How many weddings, roughly, did you run last year?
So last year, 2023, I would say about 64, 63. This year is probably going to be very similar, but we tend to pick up as well a few more. And yeah, so we'll do the ceremony out here with the registrar here, or the master of ceremony, whoever is celebrating the wedding. And then all of the lawn will be obviously in different condition, getting it ready over throughout the summer, well, the spring and the summer, and then with all the chairs, and on a sunny day, it's just marvellous.
I bet there are fabulous wedding shots right here now where we're sitting. Have you seen some of those?
I have seen plenty, and it's beautiful. Yeah, the lake, I think, just speaks for itself, and with the little water, with the fountains, and of course you got at the back, you've got the building, and yeah, beautiful.
Well, it is absolutely lovely here. Thank you so much for showing us around today. We've really enjoyed it.
So there you go. There's a bit of a whistle-stop tour around our beautiful venue that we're here today, the Mercure Albrighton Hall Hotel and Spa. It's time now to take our first look at the Shropshire Chamber Business Awards launch event itself. And for the past 3 events, ACO of Oswestry has been crowned Company of the Year. What everybody wants to know is, what's their secret? Well, I had a chat on stage with Neil Hooper, their Managing Director, to try to find out. I thought he wasn't here for a minute there. He just wanted to walk all the way from the back so he'd get the full walk, or he's at the bar, one or the other. I thought as much. Good evening, sir. Nice to see you. Nice to see you.
Good evening. Good evening, everybody.
For anyone that doesn't know about ACO, who you are, what you do, give us a bit of a potted biography.
Really quickly, 34 years in Oswestry, North Shropshire, smoke, CO alarms, connected home, environmental sensors, Internet of Things type product, moving into technology-enabled care, which will be ideal for you and I at our age.
Absolutely.
Carl.
Just enough steps, we're all right at the moment, aren't we? What, from the point of view of being part of the Shropshire business community, how crucial is that for a company like ACO?
Well, first of all, if you look about everybody who's here, I know a lot of people who are here, tremendous businesses within Shropshire represented. So to be going for awards, to be shortlisted, etc., is a huge honour. It's great affirmation. We have 1,200 people employed within our factory in Bristol in Oswestry. And of course, being part of the community with a lot of people working in Shropshire, born and bred in Shropshire, then being here at these events, having Matt as a trustee on the board as well, trying to support the Chamber in everything they do, because they do so much good. It's what we should be doing.
The real question I want to get to tonight, though, Neil, is, are you going to share a few of your secrets with us? Are you going to tell us?
You're asking the wrong person.
I'm talking about company secrets here, not personally. How do you win? I mean, you've been incredibly successful as a company at the awards, 3-time Company of the Year. Nobody else has achieved that in the 24-year history of the awards, and you've won, I think, 9 awards in total in various different categories. So I guess, how do you decide what to enter, and how do you decide how to showcase your business in the best possible way to the judges?
Genuinely, and I've got 4 colleagues, I've seen 4 of them, maybe others. Genuinely, it's down to the team, and it comes down to we don't go outside, we don't get them written for us. It's got to be the people who are involved. So if you're going for customer service, everybody who's involved with customer service. Take the management team out, other than the manager that's involved with that team. Certainly take the managing director out, and let the teams go away and develop it, because there are 5 or 6 questions. You've only got so many words. You've got to cut it down. You've got to do 100 per category, or 90, whatever it adds up to. They go away. They're the experts. They go away, keep polishing it, work with each other on it, and then finally They pull them together, and it's basically a case of, look, these would be the entries for each of the awards. We're only allowed to enter 3 now. So these are the entries, and then you literally have to say, those look the stronger ones. If I was looking in from outside, which very often I am, because I clearly don't know most of what goes on. So that's it. That's the process that we go through. Leave it to the people.
But it all tracks back then, I imagine, to the company's values, mission statements. We've got a slide on the screen here, haven't we, that we can show everybody.
Well,
this is your company's values.
Yeah,
isn't
if you go to the awards, if you're talking about what you're up to and you're applying for awards, and I really don't want to preach. I'm genuinely just trying to do good, and I've been asked to share. So this is what I feel is the most important aspect of any business: the people. Before you move into the arena of going for awards, then clearly you've got to have a business that's going to win awards, that's going to be shortlisted, that can move forward. To do that, you've got to have people. And yes, of course, we know that it's a cliche. But the people have got to be developed. There's got to be learning and development taking place. I was in that arena. I know that the Chamber do it. So it's not as if because you're a big company doing hundreds of millions like ACO, you can afford for people to come in from outside, and we do, to coach us, help us do learning and development. If you're an SME, the Chamber has this learning and development. We will spend money on developing people into driving a forklift truck better, being a better accountant. What about actually developing people in their behaviours, their attitudes? We all judge people on numbers, so we say that's the number, is that acceptable? Do we ever judge people by the values that we have, by their attitude? Oh, it's just the way that he always is. No, it's not, it's rude. But if you have a language, which we've got within the business, and we've had for the last 6 or 7 years, if you have a language that you can say to somebody, look, impact felt, impact intended, we've got respect here as one of our values. The way I've just seen that you speak to somebody else, I don't think that was respectful. That cuts through the defensiveness of going to somebody and talking to them, and then out of that, I could go on about this for hours, but I won't. Out of that, then clearly comes better people who want to be up to something, who come into work, feel part of something, and then the company gets better. ACO was always a good business. I think now we aspire to be even better, to be world class. Now, whether we are or not, that's for others to judge. We're not perfect. We make a lot of mistakes. But because of these values, we can go and have open conversations and tackle what went well, what was tricky, and what should we do differently.
And I know that when you did the business advice roadshow that you did in conjunction with the Chamber last year, talking very much about the values, it's important to emphasise, isn't it, that these are not values that were imposed top down from the management. Your staff have been involved in writing.
No, you can't. If you're anything that you impose on somebody, then you're going to get some people who grudging acceptance at best. This was put together by the team itself with an outside coach who came in and pulled these together a full day. They identified what they thought were the important values, and that's what we all buy into. So I was part of that process. I was just facilitating, helping the external coach, but that's what the colleagues came up with. So it's their contract to each other. It's their contract to our business, to our supply chain. And it has given us, I can't emphasise this enough, it's given us a purpose, it's given us a language, and out of that, whether we win awards or not, I know that we're better people. I know we're striving to be the best we can be, and whatever happens then, whatever turnover we vomit out at the end of the year, whether we get nominated for awards or not, whether we win them or not, I know that we are seeking improvement because we have a values and we have trust in each other.
I mean, you'll have some people out there who think, well, what's the point of entering? What's in it for me? Why should I bother taking the time to fill in the application form? Why should I enter? What has winning the various Shropshire Chamber Business Awards done for ACO as a company or your staff?
Well, we're talking about it here, aren't we? We're all in business. We all have a brand. We're all incredibly proud of what we do. We want our brand to be the best it can be. We're talking about it here, so this isn't about me. This is obviously about ACO and the colleagues that are doing this. So fantastic affirmation. They live and work in Shropshire. I'm just over the border, the Black Country, as you can probably tell, but they work and live here. Their friends and family are here, and the comments get made because they see the publicity of ACO have won this or ACO have achieved that. We could win nothing this year. We could win nothing, but the great thing out of going to the awards that we see is we enter a lot of awards around the UK for various things is we actually look at things that we're a bit rubbish at. So it's not about winning the award and thinking that's great, pat on the back. Sometimes we'll read a criteria and think, we're a bit crap at this, and we need to go away and look at it. We need to improve. Not because we want to win an award, because it's part of our values. we should be striving to be better.
And there's two parts as well, of course, to the awards, isn't there? There's writing the entry and managing to get yourself shortlisted. And then there's discovering that you're a shortlisted business and then having to welcome the judges to your premises and showcasing far more depth when they sort of deep dive into your business. How do you showcase? How do you prepare for a visit from the judges? Because I'm sure, that's one of the things that a lot of companies, they're never quite sure what judges would want to know.
Again, you've probably got literally, the chamber says an hour, but it's not really that. It's 45, 50 minutes. And again, it's got to be the people that have written the award, the people who've got to drive that, decide what they want to do. Now, you're going to take them around the building, you're going to have a hands-on exercise, you're going to go death by PowerPoint. Clearly, you have to have some PowerPoint. Show some videos, try and bring it to life. We always give the judges a pack to take away. So whatever we present or talk about, give them the pack. So when they reflect on it, when they go and sit somewhere at the end of that day, and they could have had 4 on the short list, so they could have 4 companies. If they've got your pack there, then they're going to remember what you said. Try and get everybody who's involved in the award to actually speak, because they are the experts. So try and get 3 or 4 of you there. Sometimes I don't sit in at all, which obviously is probably the ones that we win. So get 3 or 4 people there, get them, the people who put it together, to be able to answer the questions, to go through the journey of the criteria. Almost have a mental tick list. If there are 5 or 6 criteria within that award, try and have a mental tick list that you're thinking, we spent 5 minutes on that, now we need to move on. We spent 10 minutes on that, we need to move on. Because what the judges are looking, they're literally scoring, I believe, independent judges, I believe they're scoring in each of the criterias. So you've got to go through that exercise. You've got to make sure you don't spend too much time on one, and put yourself in their shoes if necessary. I know some of my colleagues do this, some of the teams don't. They will almost have a dry run where one of them will be a judge and go through it and think, what impact is this having on me? Because if you're bringing in people into your business and they're giving up their time of a full day out of a busy schedule to do this for the good of Shropshire, to have a great awards evening, then surely the most you can do is make sure you're absolutely prepared and you're looking at it from their eyes, not just doing what you want to do.
One of the things we'll talk about a little bit later when the website is launched, that's new for this year, is you'll be able to see exactly who is going to be judging each category. You can meet the judges, you can see who the judges are, you'll know exactly the day that your category is due to be judged before you submit your entry. So the transparency from that side of it hopefully is even greater than it's ever been. Finally, Neil, what does 2024 have in store for ACO? How's the business now? What are your prospects? What are your exciting innovations you've got coming?
Everybody knows in the room that business is tough with inflation rates. Always within an election year, people are nervous, and quite rightly with an election year in America as well. We've all got reason to be nervous. So there's 2 elections going to go on. A lot of the Western countries, Western European, have got elections. That's going to affect people's confidence in the markets. Are they going to hold money back? So clearly business confidence issue is going to be tough. So we've had a recent away day with all the senior team. We're looking 1 year, 3 years, 5 years and 10 years ahead. Because if you continue to do what you've always done, you will get the same results, which means you're going backwards. So permanently what we're doing this year, again, is trying to be innovative, reinvent ourselves. Change is the only constant. So we're trying to look where we should be in 3 years' time, 5 years' time, and do it now. Because if we don't make the change now, we're not going to get there. It can affect results in the short term if you move away from doing stuff, but always trying to look at the big picture, and that's what we're trying to do.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for sharing an insight into not just your business. There's more, folks.
Before you wrap me up, you're starting to wrap me up. Can I just say to everybody, can I just say to everybody, all the best in the awards. It is a fantastic chamber that does this. The event itself is superb. We should thank the chamber for doing this. It is one of the best awards shows in the whole of the country from the chambers. So congratulations to you all, and good luck to you all as well, your submissions. And if you do want any tips, any more guidance, then please go to the people that know how to do it, which is my colleagues.
Neil Hooper, Managing Director of ACO, folks. Give him a round of applause. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much indeed.
Welcome back to Shropshire Business Live TV. And now let's move on to our Ask the Expert when Carl went and spoke to Nick Jones.
So here we are at Throgmorton Associates Shrewsbury headquarters for our Ask the Expert slot with Nick. And Nick, you brought a friend along with you today. Introduce us.
Great to see you, Carl. We have Becky Ferber, recently joined us. Fantastic local. Saw about us on the programme over a number of editions and got a little bit of a feel for the practice. When there were big changes in her existing practice, decided it might be worth reaching out and having a chat. So you've been a bit of a matchmaker. Excellent.
I'm Shropshire's answer to Cilla Black. Excellent to know. Becky, welcome to the show, and thanks for watching us as well. Tell us a bit about you then, because you're a Shropshire lass, aren't you?
Yeah, so I live in Ellesmere, so not far away. Got a lot of sort of connections around the town, know a lot of people, and I'll be honest, like Nick alluded to, I've watched him on the show, and I heard great things from my last practice about Nick. And yeah, just with being local and changes that have happened, I reached out, and we've got a mutual friend as well.
Mutual friend, yeah.
Who introduced us. So yeah.
Networking connections, it really does work, doesn't
it?
It?
Does help.
Tell us a bit about you then, your background. Have you always been in this industry? Have you done other jobs? Or?
So a lot of my life I've been in the hospitality trade. I was an operations manager. I looked after about 400 people. So I think I've got my communication skills from that part of my life, definitely. Great part of my life as well. So long story short, COVID hit, and I thought this was a really great opportunity to maybe have a second career. I'd already looked into sort of the world of finance, and I'd helped my friends and my family and things sort of build, you know, whether it's build credit, get on the mortgage, you know, the property ladder, or even sort of make their investments work a little bit harder. And like I say, COVID hit, and I thought this is my opportunity. I studied, got my qualifications, and the rest is history. I'm now in the world of finance. So,
well, of course, we've talked to you on this show before, Nick, haven't we, about how you made the transition from a teaching background as well, didn't you? So,
absolutely. Yeah. People do join St James's Place. People do come into the industry from all sorts of walks of life. The St James's Place Academy has been going over 10 years now. And brings non-industry people across, gets them qualified, or if they've already qualified, as Becky was, gives them some finer tuning of the other skills that you need to do the job. Not just about the paperwork, it's more about the people side of it, and the processes and the regulatory side. It's a fair old beast from the outside looking in, but with the help of something like the Academy, really helps get people up to speed and ready to hit the ground and meet people and start helping people.
Well, if you've had a team of 400 people working with you, you've got the people side of it nailed by the sound of it, I would hope so.
I hope so.
What's the things you've been up to? What are you up to at the moment? What's, is it seasonal, your work, or what's January involve?
So January, everyone seems to have this sort of fresh outlook of, New Year's resolutions, let's get things sorted. Quite a few clients have reached out for more sort of random things, I'd say, in January. So things like setting up legacy for their children and things that they've probably put off throughout the year, but New Year's resolution. I think next month and March will be very much tax year end planning and busy. People sort of leaving it till the last minute.
Always, yeah.
Booking in. But yeah, no, a range of things, if I'm honest. And sorry.
And what are your particular specialist areas here? Are there particular specialisms that you have that you bring to the team here?
I think so. It's generic sort of advice that I offer. So there's no sort of one speciality that I deal with. But if I was to sort of pigeonhole what I mainly sort of deal with, I'd say it's more the intergenerational planning. So making sure that things are set up for families from a personal perspective, but then also for later generations as well.
And in general terms, do you think that's something people are thinking about a bit more now than they perhaps were a few years ago? Maybe COVID's impacted that, I don't know.
Absolutely. I think as well, understanding the power of what you could do now and just little changes that could make a massive impact in the future. For example, setting up a pension for your child. Everyone's got a £3,600 allowance, whether you work or not, from the age of 0. So actually popping a small, affordable amount into a pension could have such an impact over the amount of years that it would be invested. So that when they come to 55 or 65, depending on their pension age, it's given them a really good head start. And I don't know about you guys, but when I
sort of started working, pension provisions is not necessarily the number one thing on your mind.
I remember when I got my first full-time job, and I remember the pensions office came down and said, you've got a choice now, would you like to start contributing to your pension? And I always remember my dad saying, do it now, do it the earliest you possibly can.
Yeah, great advice.
You don't think, but you think, oh, pensions, retirement, that's years away. You know?
Nothing tangible for your money.
That's right, yeah. It's kind of it's a figure on a piece of paper, isn't it?
Absolutely.
What does it mean? But then when you forward it forecasting, you've got the compound interest on. Something else that's changed over recent years has been the need for parents, grandparents to help their children nowadays, with a deposit towards getting on the housing ladder, as you say. It used to be, well, it's all done in the will, they'll get what they get when I'm no longer here. People are living that much longer. Your kids, if you're 80, 90, maybe when you pass away, your kids are going to be in their 60s when you passed away. They don't need the money then. The grandkids need it probably now. The great grandkids will need it. So it's speeding up that gifting and the intergenerational transfer. And if you do it wrong, it can cost a fortune in tax. If you do it right, and you've got enough to be able to time and phase these gifts, it could be gifts to trust. It doesn't have to be to them directly. You can still keep control of some of these things. And the inheritance tax is still a big problem for a lot of people. Very generous reliefs now, but still a lot of people caught in the trap.
In general terms, you see a lot more, don't you? People saying, well, if we want to pass some money down to the generations, let's do it while we're all still here.
Yeah.
Let's not wait until the end, because we want to see our children and our grandchildren maybe benefit. I mean, you've got a lot more people living from home, haven't you? Because they can't afford a property deposit.
I heard a lovely phrase the other day. Someone said, give these gifts with a warm hand rather than a cold hand. So whilst you're still here and able to see the benefit and see actually the impact it makes, rather than you've passed on and then it's probably too late anyway for the people to receive it. They don't need it as much.
Absolutely.
But as well, just to add to your point, it's not about just gifting as well. Some people aren't in the position, say they're starting to retire and they still need their assets as such to live off. There's things you can do. You've got what's known as an annual exemption, so £3,000 per annum that you can gift away. But what you could do instead is pay a premium into a form of insurance that gives you a guaranteed payout at the end when you pass away. So it kind of provides a legacy for children, grandchildren as well. So it's not just about gifting, there's a lot of different areas to look into as well.
Is that exemption retrospective? Can you claim it back if you haven't claimed it in a particular year? Because I know there's some...
You can only go back 12 months on that one. So if you didn't give anything last year, you can do last year's and this year's, can't you?
Yeah.
And it's 3,000 per adult, so husband and wife could use 12,000 altogether.
Yeah. So don't hang around, basically. Be aware of what you can get hold of. So you're enjoying it?
Loving it. Yeah. Everyone's been really friendly. Got a lot of support from the team. I've settled in. It feels like a lot longer since I've been here because I feel like a natural now with everything. So yes, I'm very grateful to sort of, well, I'm not trying to embarrass you on the TV, but you've been very welcoming, and so have the team. So
it is a team effort, and Becky's fit right in because she's got that personality. She's a people person, does a great deal for clients as well. And there aren't enough lady advisors in the industry. There are more than there were probably ever before, but there's still a disparity between the number of ladies and the number of gents. And ladies do naturally have a bit more empathy, and they generally deal better with older clients or people who are struggling. They do have different sorts of conversations. As much as we try, as guys, we try, it's a natural thing. And then with experience, you can get better at that stuff. But Becky does it naturally, which is brilliant.
Excellent. Well, you'll be good to embarrassing you more now, Nick. You've got a fan from our last show here. We touched on pensions a little bit, but after we were talking about specifically different kinds of pension pots on the last show, Paul from Ellesmere got in touch and said, "Can I ask you?" He said, "I'm interested in hearing Nick talk about pensions on the show, and I wonder if he'd be kind enough to give me some advice." So, are you kind enough?
Absolutely.
Here we go. This is what he says. "I've got 3 private pensions as a self-employed person, spread across about 18 years. Does it automatically make sense to merge them together, or might that leave me worse off?" He says, "I'm 55 this year, so is it sensible to take my tax-free cash out of them all?"
There's more than one question.
There's a few questions actually there.
Yeah. So there are 2 ways to answer that. The brief answer is possibly for the first answer to the first question. In reality, you've got this flexibility. You've got 3 different pots. It might be more simple to administer going forward. Put them all in one and then move on, and you've got one pot to deal with, one provider hopefully, because 3 different providers will be sending 3 lots of annual information hopefully, 3 lots of options if he's getting to a stage where he might be starting thinking about drawing down. But some of those might well be old. He probably had them a long time, as he's mentioned 18 years there. So some historic pensions had some really great features, some guaranteed annuity rates, some extra tax-free cash if they're the right type of plan. It might be that they were with profits schemes, and those funds have annual bonuses that are added to them, but they're not guaranteed. So if you're due to retire and there's a dip in worldwide markets, the provider could introduce a market value reduction that means your bonus is gone and actually the value is reduced a bit by this penalty. Yeah, right. But if you move that around now whilst the bonus is there, then you're definitely getting the bonus at least. But you change it day by day if there's volatility. So each of the three plans might have different opportunities. It more depends on his outlook. Now, if he's 55 this year, when is he actually looking to draw down from the pot? Is he still paying into anything? Has he got another pot already that he can pay into? Could they be consolidated and then he has a bit more of a plan about, well, if I pay X per month, at that age, I'm going to have a pot worth this, and then my income can be that. So it's an interesting question, but the answers are more questions, I'm afraid.
Yeah, it's almost, it occurred to me when Paul sent it in, it's almost, do you need it now? Do you need to draw down now? Have you got a particular, do you want to pay your mortgage off or whatever? Do you actually need it? Or do you want to go off on spoil yourself on a cruise or whatever?
And the opportunity to take tax-free cash isn't going away unless there's a change of rules, and people get nervous around tax year end or around budget times, and you can take 25% from these personal schemes, it seems he has to hear. That's 25% tax-free and then not have to buy an income. It used to be you'd buy a new annuity at the same time, so tax-free cash would come out, you're then doing a deal with Prudential or Scottish Widows or whoever, and then you've got guaranteed income for the rest of your life. But less and less people are doing that now. You can do actual income drawdown. So if he doesn't need the lump sum tax-free, and then he does start taking income in the future, a quarter of everything he takes each year could be tax-free. So you can withdraw some quite meaty amounts every year and pay a minimum amount of tax. And we spend a lot more time now with clients who are in the drawdown phase, looking at all of their pots and working out which pots are you best to take how much from to minimise your tax burden.
Are there people that maybe think that they can't do it that way from a drawing down point of view? Do they think they've got to draw it all down in one big chunk?
A lot of people we talk to about the drawdown option, they think they still got to do the annuity. They think that's still the only option. Right, so and the paperwork that they get from each provider has to have annuity calculations in there. So it says you've got this pot and it's quite, whatever the size is, and then the income that it actually dictates is actually that's not a lot of income for all of that money. What's wrong? But annuity rates were at all-time lows. They have been rising the last 12-18 months because with annuities as they are with interest rates and with gilt yields, that's how they sort of worked out. So people are getting more for their money now than they were, but they're still not getting the same as they were 15 years ago. But most people aren't drawing down on doing the annuity thing. And the benefits on death are much better if you're drawing down, because whatever's left in the pot can go to your spouse. Whatever's left in the pot when your spouse dies can go to the kids and can be inheritance tax-free at each step. So some clients with multiple pots, the last thing they're touching is their pension because it's IHT-free. And that's, so advice is key, because Paul will have these three assets, might have other things going on, so he really needs advice. He lives in Ellesmere, so does Becky.
So does Becky, yeah, exactly, Paul. Becky's just round the corner, so if you want to have a word, you know how to find her now. And also, if anybody else has got any other questions that they want to post to Nick, you're always happy, aren't you?
Yeah, please, it's great.
To answer them, and he's on Shrewsbury Business Park, so come knock on the door. We've touched on year-end tax planning. It feels like we only just started January and we're already talking about the end of March. It feels like we're wishing the year away a little bit, but we're starting early this year, or is this typically the time when people should be starting to think about financial planning?
We in the industry as advisors try and start it as early as we can. People don't really want to think about it until January onwards. Some people, if they're businesses and they've got company tax year ends as well, they have that in mind as well. So it might be that they have a calendar year company tax year end and a personal tax year the same as everybody else's. So we've got the two different things that you're trying to comply with or maximise really. We've got a link which will be on the screen in a moment, but that takes you to the Throgmorton website, and it's a tax year end section, and there are some examples on there of different people and different things they might try and do. So it mentions ISAs, it mentions pensions, it mentions unit trusts, it mentions capital gains tax and things. There's also a downloadable guide, which is 17-18 page guide, all about options tax year end. If it's downloaded sooner rather than later, you can start thinking about what you might do. You've then got time to think about it before the impending deadline. And best will in the world, if it's the 5th of April is the end of the tax year, you don't want to start thinking about middle of March, right, let's get on and do it, because it takes a while for these things to be put in place. Whoever your provider and whoever's helping on the advice, or you do it directly, it doesn't happen as smoothly or as quickly as you want it to probably. So give as much time as possible, reduce the stress, download it in the next couple of weeks and then start planning ahead. And if you need advice, seek a qualified advisor. That's, as we always say, isn't it? The health warning.
And don't leave it all lastminute.com. I must admit, I went to an event a couple of days ago, a business event, and there were accountants in attendance. And I always thought January that they were all just locked away in a room, desperately trying to get all the year-end tax planning, and they never came out. I don't know whether that's telling me that people are maybe planning a little bit ahead, or whether technology's helping to get rid of the big...
Or they've got a team of people in the office doing all the work.
Who are locked away, exactly. There's possibly a bit of that as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
What the next few weeks then, from your point of view, Becky, what's on the agenda? What have you got coming up?
I've been kindly given some clients from the practice, so I'm very much sort of getting to know introductions, doing overall reviews with my clients. And to be honest, up till now, they've all been so friendly and inviting, so I'm very grateful for the hospitality that they've shown. And literally, it is reviewing their affairs, looking at the different pots, like Nick says, and understanding what their objectives are, because we always go on about ISAs, pensions, unit trusts, investment bonds, you name it, all the jargon. But actually, what are we saving for? What are we trying to achieve? And how are we going to sort of live our best lives? So I think understanding that, we can then help plan backwards in a tax efficient way. So that's kind of...
But being a people person as well, as you said, is a really key to this, isn't it? Because you're asking people to share some pretty sensitive personal details about themselves, aren't you? So.
And do you know what? Full disclosure is really important. But to actually, money, politics, taboo subject, to actually gain that trust and build that relationship with people is crucial, because the rest you can learn. You do qualifications, you can, and that's what we've done. But actually having the personable skills to relate and have life experiences as well that you can relate back with, it's just really important. And I think as that builds, it's...
And what's important, so there's a couple of things there. So on the practice perspective, it's great to have developing advisors coming through as the established people are retiring, because we do have that. We've got 16 advisors, 17 at the moment, soon to be 16 because one of the guys is retiring. So some of those clients will be looked after by Becky. And also, we're all on a limited time, so having people to come through to be directors of the future, to be leading the business as well as looking after clients is important. But coming in with a blank piece of paper and actually asking lots of questions, you'll find out a lot more about those clients maybe than the existing advisor, because things get cosy. And you think, well, if they need anything, they'll just tell me. But actually, if you just sit and say, well, I don't know anything about you, just tell me. And the number of things that have come out that are new things that the client actually needs help with, but they thought the advisor was too busy, or they thought that it wasn't something that we could help with. It is amazing. So it's a great opportunity both ways around for a client to have an eager helper, and for an advisor to find lots of new people to talk to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, excellent. Now, before we go, Nick, I can't go without asking you this important question.
Oh, God.
How's the dog training going?
Oh, that's
you
all right.
last time. You were expecting something worse than that, weren't you? I know last time on the show you just got a new pup, hadn't you?
A new puppy.
So how's it all going?
Yeah,
he's a bit grayer.
Yeah, I'm a bit grayer. Yeah. So Wilson's still jet black. He's okay. So black Labrador. We took him for his longest walk the other day. We went from our house. It was my birthday on Monday, so we took him out. We walked to town and back, and wore him out a little bit. A nice coffee at Stop Cafe there, which was very dog friendly. They asked us inside. We were going to sit outside. Quite a windy day Monday, you might remember. So they gave us a dog bowl and some treats and things. He was made welcome, more welcome than us. But it was lovely. And I wandered it back. It's just a different thing, isn't it? It's like having, we've got kids, but it's like actually a new child in the family. We're learning. We're going to the Puppy Academy in Shrewsbury, which are doing great things with us, for us. We're learning more than the hound, it's got to be said. We did our second session on Sunday. It's a 6-week course, but so many things to learn, and luckily we're all open to it. And
it's an eye-opener, isn't it? I'll tell you what, our Labrador loves a cup of tea. I'll tell
really?
you that from nothing. Loves a cup of tea.
I haven't tried that yet.
Try a cup of tea. Milk, no sugar.
Right.
And you get a guaranteed good greeting from your dog as well.
Yeah,
too.
You definitely do.
More so than children.
Yeah,
or a grunt.
Or Emma.
Yeah. The dog's always the first one to greet me when I get back home, not the missus. So yeah, absolutely. Great to see you. Thank you very much for catching up. And don't forget, if you've got any more questions you think Nick can help you with, info@sbltv.co.uk is the place to send it, and scan the QR code and you can get straight through to the website with all the information about year-end planning. Good to see you both. See you next month.
Thank you.
Shropshire Live. News and entertainment for Shropshire. Shropshire Live.
Welcome back to Shropshire Business Live TV, and now we're going to head back to Carl, who is on the stage doing a Q&A with some past winners, judges and sponsors.
Have a seat, make yourself at home. Whoever sits nearest to me gets the first question, whether that impacts where you are. So that's why the rest of you came at that end of the stage, isn't it? Excellent. What we've tried to do here, folks, is get some people together who are all coming from the awards, or coming to the awards from a different perspective. So you've got one microphone between three, and since you've got the microphone, Victoria, you can go first. Now, Paverways, you tick lots of boxes, don't you? You're a former Shropshire Company of the Year. You've been involved from a sponsorship aspect, a judging aspect, all sorts. Tell us a bit about your company's connection to the awards and why and how it happened and how important it is to you, I guess.
The awards have been really great for us as a company. Since we won the Company of the Year in 2019, we've entered on numerous more occasions. We've won trainee and apprentices and then business and community last year. And it's just really nice to put ourselves out there to show what we can do and find out what everybody else can do as well.
And one of the things I was talking to Neil there, you know, when you were crowned Company of the Year, what did that mean to the business? Do the staff walk taller on the Monday morning after the awards? What does it actually do?
There's no feeling like it, really. Somebody, a year later, they had the Facebook Live that come back, your reminder, and it just brings it all back. You look at the video, and it's just like, I can't believe it happened. It's all a blur, and it was amazing.
Pass the mic along the way. Now, Emma, I still remember, in fact, you saw a little bit on the video, the look on your face when you were crowned Best Small Business at the awards last year, the look of astonishment, delight, incredulity, fear, it all went through your eyes, didn't it? Just what were you thinking at that moment?
I think because Shropshire's got so many great businesses, and I think the Best Small Business the award that we won, quite a lot of businesses are entering. So Gareth and I come along, have a good night, and we're quite laid back as people anyway. So we sat there and they called our name out, and we both literally just looked at each other and went, what? Because the group of people on our table just wished they'd have filmed our reaction, because I think we were just so shocked because there's such good competition going on in Shropshire.
Why did you enter?
So we'd entered the year before. We were shortlisted in the top 3, but lost out to a great company working with deprived children, so that was a great win for them. And we decided to enter again just because we'd improved, our business turnover had doubled in that following year as well, and we just thought, well, why not try again and see how we can get through, and thankfully we won.
And a similar question to the one I asked Victoria, really. What has it done from your business's point of view in terms of growth or profile? Or?
So, yeah, it certainly helped growth, and certainly with contacts. People, there's lots and lots of businesses in Shropshire that a lot of us still don't know about, and there's a lot of people that still don't know about the Shropshire Distillery and what we do. So it's certainly raised and elevated that profile for us, and connections, working with people like yourselves, and, connections within the room as well.
If they've watched Shropshire Business Live TV, they'll know exactly what you're about. We
yeah,
came to pay you a visit last month. And how's it going in the new premises?
Yeah, no, it's going really well. So we've had the busy time of Christmas, and I was just actually saying to Andy and some of the others, January for us so far, considering we're a distillery, we're up on last January as well. So it's dry January is no more, guys, as we can clearly see everyone's with a drink.
Hands up, who's been doing dry January?
Well done.
Congratulations, you've nearly made it. You're braver than me. Pass it over to Andy now. Now, Andy, Barclays as a business has had involvement with the Shropshire Chamber Business Awards over the years, but this is totally new for you this year, isn't it? What are you expecting?
Yeah, from a judging perspective, definitely. So
I'm expecting everything and anything. I think Shropshire's amazing. We've got so many fabulous businesses hidden around, some hidden in plain sight, some that we know about. So really looking forward to kind of finding some of maybe those companies that we've not heard of before but are within our county, and finding out more and visiting them, and then giving them that showcase that the awards do for them.
Give us a bit of inside info then. So if you happen to be judging the category that some people in the room tonight are shortlisted in, what sort of things you're going to be looking for? What's going to excite you about their business?
Well, so I asked some previous judges to give me a hand on this. So someone likened it to Strava. So, you know, so if you're a cyclist or you use Strava, if you didn't do it on Strava, it didn't happen, right? So on the entry forms, if you haven't wrote it down, it didn't happen, essentially. So be more Strava, maybe, as a top tip there. And then I think, you know, from what's written on the forms, if you get shortlisted, we go and see you, be fantastic to see that in action as well. So maybe that mirroring back. And I think I'm on the Trailblazer Award, so really looking at what that USP is, what's different, what's really drive that change, how's that supported the, you know, Shropshire, the economy, how's it local people, and does everything that wrote on the, I suppose, the initial entry ring true when we go and see the companies. But I'm super excited about it. Yeah.
And because it's not just about the companies shortlisted, the judges get something out of it as well, don't they? I guess from your point of view, you could learn things, couldn't you, on the road?
Totally, yeah. And what we pick up, I think that's what Shropshire's brilliant for. We've got such an eclectic mix of businesses that when we meet businesses and they tell us more about what they do, it's an opportunity when we meet people that we think that business might help that other business that we know. We're able to introduce businesses as well. So it's a great way of kind of cross-pollinating that network of businesses around, but also outside of Shropshire as well. But if we don't know about those companies, we can't shout about them. So love to see some new names that we've never seen, you know, on the entries before would be brilliant.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the great things. Pass back to Emma. I need to ask you, Emma, so where do you stand now? You've won Best Small Business last year. Does that mean you feel like you've got to try and defend your title, or do you go for something else, or is it all too top secret at the moment?
I'll be honest, we've not probably made a decision. I think to enter it again, I think it's probably let somebody else have the chance. You know, we've been awarded it. We're very proud of it. Those that come to the distillery, it's straight there as you walk in. So it's an award we're very, very proud of. But there's some other fantastic businesses there that I'd encourage to enter and have a go. But yeah, the decision's not fully been made yet as to what we're doing this year.
Excellent. Let me back to Victoria for the final word then. So from Paverway's point of view, I mean, you're in a sector, aren't you, which covers pretty much every single category in these awards, aren't you? So how does a business like yours decide which categories to maybe enter?
We were quite fortunate last year that we targeted 2, which I thought we felt we entered really well. There's a few more that we're going to look at this year, but like you, we haven't decided. It's a bit difficult when you cover so many to make sure that you can get that information that can get you across off that shortlist, because that's what's really important.
Can you relate to a lot of the things that maybe Neil was saying earlier as well about how you prepare if you've been shortlisted for a visit from the judges and what you do and how you approach it?
Yeah, definitely. When it's quite interesting because I judged last year and did the shortlisting, so it's very interesting to see how people have different approaches to their awards, and yeah, so that shortlisting was going from 14 to 4 was really, really difficult, and then I had a great day judging with over there. There was a fellow judging with Beth from Shropshire Festivals, who is a bit crazy, but it was great. But in terms of being judged, we took it really seriously. We really wanted to show off our business to the judges, and yeah, it worked in one of them. But yeah, it's definitely something we go in with both feet.
And finally, wearing your shortlisting hat, what's one of the most frustrating things that happens when you are trying to shortlist an entry? Maybe things that make you not put a company through?
It's the lack of facts. And getting over the important key information. So there was obvious evidence that these companies were really good at what they did, but they just put sentences. They didn't give that vital backup to prove that I can see straight away that stat is an amazing stat and that pushes you above the others. And it was the lack of stats, and the ones that were shortlisted in the end were the ones that could prove what they were saying, and it's that backup that's really important.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for your insight. Let's give a round of applause to Andy, to Emma and to Victoria. Thank you very much indeed, folks.
3 individual sensors, optical, heat, and carbon monoxide, combined in one alarm for the ultimate fire and CO response. Introducing the EI3030, the next evolution in home life safety. Maximising coverage, whilst making installation simpler, easier and future-proof with the Easy Fit base. The EI3030 multi-sensor fire and carbon monoxide alarm is available to order now. Safety first. Eco first.
I'm here with Kate and Darren from Shropshire Council, and they're here to talk about the Shropshire Leadership Conference. So Darren, can you tell me a little bit about the event?
Yeah, sure. Well, luckily we've got it again at the Theatre 7 on the 16th of April, exactly the same venue as last year. It worked so well there last year that obviously we wanted to repeat in the same venue. So all being well, it should be even bigger and better than last year.
Sounds brilliant. And Kate, I know you've been doing lots of work behind the scenes, booking speakers or organising the event. So can you tell us a little bit about who'll be there?
Yeah, absolutely. So this year's conference is a bit of a different format to what we had last year. So last year we just had some speakers and it was very much like a speaker audience vibe. So we had Sir Clive Woodward, the England rugby captain, and we also had MBE Deborah Searle, who told us all about her amazing journey rowing across the Atlantic. But this year we're going for a bit more of an interactive feel, embedding in the theme of this year's conference, which is the future of leadership. So we've got 3 top speakers. We've got Michael Heppel, one of the top 3 speakers in the world, who's also an author as well. We've got John Williams from the Institute of Leadership to tell us all about the future of leadership, what we should be looking at businesses and employers, but also as individuals as well, just to really consider what's coming up. And leading really nicely into that as well, we've got a speaker who's going to tell us all about equality, diversity and belonging in the workplace. But interweaved into this year's conference, we've got some amazing interactive masterclasses on data, on AI, on well-being, on a personality tool which can really help people develop teamwork and leadership in their organisation. So a bit of a different vibe, but something that people can really get stuck in and find out more about the future of leadership.
It sounds absolutely amazing. And I know you've got some exhibitors there as well. Can you tell me, Darren, a little bit about who'll be there?
Yeah, sure. I'd probably start with the sponsors actually, because we've got, we're really lucky this year because we've been able to attract Agility in Mind as our overarching sponsor. So they're a global brand. Interestingly, their chief executive lives in Shropshire. Attended our conference last year, was that impressed, loved it, and came to us afterwards and said he'd like to get involved. They're a sort of a global leadership and transformation training and consultancy business, and they're helping major brands right the way across the world. We've also been lucky enough to do some work with our local Shrewsbury Colleges group, who've come on board as a conference partner, so they're going to be doing some work with us as well. And then there's all kinds of businesses going to be exhibiting on the day as well. So we've got our own council-owned businesses such as Cornovi Homes, Star Housing and so on. We've got again a global insurance brand called Howden's Insurance. A couple of local brands, Clicking Mad, Educate, Unison are going to be exhibiting as well. They're one of the, in fact they are the country's largest trade union. I believe they've got 1.3 million members, so they're going to be with us, and also West Midland employers are going to be there as well. So we've got a whole raft of different industries, different sectors, and hopefully there's going to be a lot of people there for for them to talk to. So.
It sounds absolutely jam-packed and amazing. Really well thought out, fabulous day. How do we buy tickets? What do we do? How can we get involved if we aren't already?
Yeah, so you can get a ticket from the Theatre 7 website, so they're on sale there. If employers feel that they want to bring loads of their team, we can do some deals for them as well for groups of 8 or more, so they can do that by emailing shropshirehr@shropshire.gov.uk. But yeah, just get in touch with us for any ticketing needs. If you're interested in doing something else on the day, like we We haven't got much space anymore for exhibitors because we've had that much interest. It's been amazing. But, you know, we're willing to really enable businesses to be part of this conference and really get involved because it's just so important.
And what a fabulous event to be holding here in Shrewsbury in Shropshire.
Absolutely.
Thank you both very, very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So good to hear there about the Shropshire Leadership Conference coming up at Theatre 7. And if you're going, I'll see you there. Now it's time for some music. No, don't panic. I'm not planning to play the piano. I don't know if you've heard about our Sbltv Knowledge website. If you haven't, do check it out online. The idea of Knowledge is to provide you with some videos, some podcasts, some blogs, some useful articles from local business people that can help to make your business and your working life even better. Now, for a lot of people, the idea of standing up and pitching in public gives people sleepless nights. You know, those networking events where you have to just do your 60 seconds. Some people find that really difficult. Well, one of the latest items on Knowledge is a video interview that I did with a chap called Pete the Speaker Hill, who tamed the dragons in Dragon's Den. He managed to get investment off them. And he now runs a business helping people to put the perfect pitch together. He reckons you can pitch any product or service to anybody and get them interested. So I caught up with him to find out more.
Welcome to Dragon's Den.
Your pitch is really neat, and something about the way you present made me think of a magician.
You are entertaining and engaging and funny.
I do like it. I like you.
Pete, love your energy, love your enthusiasm.
Hi, I'm Pete, also known as Pete the Speaker. If you know anyone who's been to one of my workshops, email them, speak to them, ask them what the experience was like. I regularly get the highest praise and feedback from my audiences, and every venue that's ever booked me as a speaker has asked me to return.
This was different from other workshops because it was so much more interactive. We actually played a game, we set up a mini business in real life, and that helped me remember things. So rather than just listening to someone speak for hours on end, it was very interactive, and I really enjoyed that aspect.
I found my own voice in public speaking as I discovered that my audiences really engage when they could be at the centre of the experience, taking part on a practical level, designing their own products, setting up their own simulated business, pitching, trading, and doing all the skills that we use in business.
For other people wondering whether they want to come to this, I'd recommend it. He's very good at putting things across in a very kind of normal way for anyone that anyone can understand. You'll definitely take something away from the session, and it's delivered in a fun way as well.
My branding is this little white logo. Where you see this, it's a sign of quality. I promise if you attend one of my workshops, it will be entertaining, engaging, dynamic and fun. You will be at the centre of the event. You'll be involved as much or as little as you want. I'll teach you the practical skills you need in business, plus the theories and knowledge that underpin business success.
Well, Pete, really good to see you again. Thank you so much for your time. Before we get around to talking about some of the things that you're doing in and around Shropshire at the moment, for people that don't know, just tell us a bit about your story, because you're a Shropshire lad, aren't you, originally?
That's right, yeah. Born in Shrewsbury back in the 70s and spent most of my life in Market Drayton as a child. So catching the bus from Drayton to Shrewsbury was sort of the Saturday thing to do. So it's very much my childhood home, my spiritual home. And I keep returning to it because I'm a kayaker. And Montford Bridge to Shrewsbury town, one of the most glorious sections of river that you'll never see unless you go kayaking. Highly recommended. So yeah, everywhere else I've lived, it's been a place I've lived, but yeah, Shrewsbury, Shropshire, very much my home.
I think I'm going to have to take your word for that stretch of water. I'll allow you to just tell me what it's like, to be honest. Sounds too dangerous for me. Now, you won Dragon's Den in 2018, didn't you? But actually, I was reading the other day, what was really interesting is that your first flirtation with a dragon came here in Shropshire many, many years earlier than that, didn't it?
That's right. The very first proper money I ever earned was dog walking. And as a child, I went and walked the dog of the Jenkins. Carol Jenkins was the name of the lady. Her son was Nick, who went on to create moonpig.com and eventually take his own seat in the Dragon as a judge. So I was always worried. I always thought, I'd love to go on Dragon's Den sometime. And then Nick went on. I thought, oh, I can't really go there now. I'm sort of kibosh. But after I think 2 or 3 seasons, Nick moved on. So it meant that, yeah, I was able to be the second market Draytonian to go in the Den.
And when you did then pitch to the Den, it was an animal-related business that you pitched, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. So I'm a bit of a traitor, really, because I moved from walking dogs to a cat product. So for those of you who haven't seen my Dragon's Den pitch, I invented the lunchbox, technically for pets, but it's a cat product. And the way that the product works is the cat walks towards a sealed bowl, they step onto a ramp, lid opens, they can eat, lid closes afterwards. No food lost to flies, and it saved me a fortune.
You haven't invented one for Labradors that stops them eating, have you? Because if you have, I'll buy one of those off you, definitely.
I think that might be called a lockable fridge. So yeah, I think right. That's my recommendation there.
So tell me about Dragon's Den then. I mean, everybody has this idea about how fearsome the dragons are and what goes on behind the scenes. It was 2018, wasn't it, that you pitched? What was it like, and how were you feeling before you stepped into the Den? Had you got a clear idea of how it was going to go, what you wanted, the dragons you wanted to connect with?
Yeah, absolutely. I knew there was only one dragon who potentially could invest with me, and that was Deborah Meaden. She's the only one who had a portfolio. So one of my key tips for anyone pitching is research who you're pitching to. So from that point of view, I knew there was one person who could invest in me, and I then structured my entire pitch around Deborah Meaden. So if you watch it, yeah, you'll see where I'm going with that. In terms of nerves, not really. I had nervous energy because what happens with these TV shows, and you being in the media know this, Carl, is that whenever you do any kind of recording, there's loads of standing around. And that's just an inevitable part. Anyone who's ever done any filming, you're standing around a lot. So that's where the nerves come in. You're sort of really keen to get on with it. But in terms of the actual event itself, no, I found it, I can't say easy, but not stressful at all. When I went into the Den, they're sat down, I'm standing, so I felt like I'm in control here. The temperature of the room's nice, it's a nice cool room, and everyone's quite polite, and they just seem to warm to me. I did have a kind of strategy of how I would do that, but the actual stress of it, I don't think so. I think my background was as a stand-up comedian. I'd done that for a couple of years, so I'm used to an audience that might be drunk, and the dragons are sober. So in terms of the actual experience, no, it doesn't have to be stressful.
Well, and to be fair, they say stand-up comedy is one of the most stressful and traumatic things to do, because you've got to win an audience over who all sit there with their arms folded when they first walk in the room, weren't they, saying, come on then, make me laugh.
And that really, Carl, there is the crucial part of the work we do. Whether we're trying to go and speak to a client one-to-one to get business, whether we're trying to encourage a child to eat vegetables or a cat to use a pedal dish, all of it's about the other person, understanding where they're coming from, what do they actually want. And if you can get in that zone, that person, this is what buttons to push because this is what they're about, this is the stuff they're going to be interested in. And if you can give an audience, or an audience of one, what they're looking for, that's where you tend to get on quite well.
Do you believe that anybody can be taught to be confident in pitching and standing up in front of an audience and orating then?
Confidence doesn't matter. So if you are completely nervous, and it's one of the most common phobias, so 75% of the population report fear of public speaking, it doesn't matter. What matters is you do it. So if you go on that stage, or you go and speak to a group of people and you are thoroughly nervous, that's normal. You're in the main group. Don't think, oh, I'm weird. No, you're in the 75%. I'm the weird one, the person who'll go in front of people and not feel nervous. I'm the odd one out. So go deliver the pitch and feel nervous. But yes, you can do some very specific things to be ready for it. I've seen extroverts. You'll have seen this too, Carl. Go on stage full of bluster and confidence. Go and watch Ricky Gervais in The Office do his motivational speech. Going on stage, blustering it, and you think, what is this all about? They're full of passion, enthusiasm, but there's no substance. And I've seen an introvert nervously go on stage and beautifully say something that really captures the audience's imagination. So confidence, it's overrated. But what really matters is technique, making that connection with the audience. And anyone can do that. Anyone who can speak can do that.
Which brings us nicely, doesn't it, Pete, to what you're very much doing right at the moment. We're working with the likes of the Marches Growth Hub on sessions like Mastering the Big Three, pitching, networking, business success. And you try to do it, don't you, in a sort of very visual, high energy, practical, interactive way, don't you?
Well, this is it. So the whole thing I'm about is you should give the audience what they want. So if I deliver a workshop, number one, it cannot be boring. That's absolute number one. As soon as you are boring or you're delivering a session that's dull, it's over. So every session that I deliver, you'll come in and it'll be multi-sensory. So there'll be things to do and things to pick up, and you'll be able to interact with people. There'll be challenges. There'll be models that you've never heard about. I'll be trying to engage you more as a sort of performer, but with a really important business message that you can take away. So if you come to one of my sessions and you're looking for a skill, for example, how to pitch, you'll know how to do it when you leave. Or how to make a price point, how to create an advert, how to identify a successful product or service. You'll get all of that. But people will return to my courses. I'll say, why are you guys here again? You know what I'm about to say. And they'll say, well, we just find it entertaining. We find it enjoyable. So absolutely, you've got to be multi-sensory. But here's the thing that a lot of people don't know about me, Carl. I'm not actually an extrovert. I'm both an introvert and extrovert. It's what's called omnivert. So I occupy both stages. This weekend, I'm going camping on the beach on my own. I'm not going to speak to anyone for 2 days. I'll absolutely love it. So the other thing is, if you are an introvert, if you're quiet, if you're nervous, you don't have to come in and start singing and dancing and you can sit at the back of the room and you can join in whatever way you want. So I try to make it as inclusive as possible.
Because you'll also, presumably, when you put a session on like this, you'll have no idea what kind of businesses, what kind of backgrounds, what kind of age demographic you're looking at. There could be SMEs, small businesses, self-employed, multi-million-pound conglomerate managing directors. You don't know, do you? So it's got to work for everybody.
And what's really fascinating about this is when I deliver practical learning, I've done this in schools, I've done it with directors, and surprisingly, I don't have to actually change a huge amount of the content. There's stuff out there that you can that's truthful. There's a way of making it, of delivering a pitch. There's a way of being successful in it in tasks, and if it's true, you can deliver it for a group of students. You can deliver it for directors. I will say just this. The older directors are the hardest group that I ever work with, because you have to do a little bit of work initially just to get them to be open to maybe
the comedy side of it. They come in with their arms folded and say, right, what have you got for me?
Yeah, and also, but I don't always mind that, Carl, because the thing is, sometimes I meet audiences and they're really kind and they embrace me, sometimes literally, but usually figuratively, and that's lovely. But actually, as a speaker, to have a challenging audience, and very often you'll have one or two people in the audience who are quite cynical, and I keep my eye on them. I think, right, can I move them through a process where they're actually going to go away and have something valuable? And very often they're the people that will email me afterwards and go, yeah, actually, Pete, I didn't think this should be up to much, and that was really, really engaged. And they're often the people that will stay with me the longest after my sessions. So yeah, the 17th of January is the time that you can come and join me, see one of my workshops happening, which will be at Frankwell in Shrewsbury. And you mentioned, Carl, mastering the big three. So 3 forms of communication. The first is I'm going to teach you how to pitch anything to anyone. It'll take me 10 minutes to train you and you'll be able to do it. But more than that, I don't believe a trainer should just teach stuff. They should prove it works. So as an audience, you will throw suggestions for me to pitch and I'll do it immediately with no rehearsal. Second skill we're going to look at is networking. So when you walk into a room, actually a similar skill to pitching. Who can you approach? What do you say? And how do you get the best result? And there's some very simple techniques. There's something I use when I go to a networking room of strangers. I know 50% of the time who to speak to and what to say immediately through a little trick I use that no one else uses. It's so simple, and I'll teach that. And then finally, we've got the practical activity. So I'm going to set you guys the challenge of creating your own business using this. This box here contains everything you need to set up your own little micro business. You'll compete for this, which is the cash. You'll have to create your own strategy, design your products, and in 30 minutes, you will lead to either great success, or you might be surprised by some of the challenges, and a group will walk away with this, which are my exclusive trophies. So it'll be a really great fun day, a brilliant way to start the new year, but you'll take away key skills. From that point on, you'll be able to network with anyone, you'll be able to pitch anything, plus you'll gain a huge insight to why businesses succeed and fail.
You clearly enjoy doing this side of your work. Then you really sort of embrace the idea of going in and meeting completely different kinds of people, do you?
Yeah, I absolutely love this, and it's one of those weird things. So I'm now in my late 40s, and throughout my life, I knew there was something there about invention and creativity. So I thought that meant I was an inventor, and I still invent stuff. In fact, I've got stuff here I'm taking to the beach this weekend to go and test little products and things. But the thing about being an inventor, being creative, is once you've created a product or a service, like my pedal dish that I created, it ends, and then you're into logistics and paperwork. Whereas with the event on the 17th, I'm already planning little things that I've never done before. We're going to try some new little techniques, some new ideas that have never been done before. So I'm in a really creative process. I can deliver that to an audience, and then I can do it again and again and keep changing. So for me, I really found my passion was in creativity, being able to provide things that the world had never seen before. So when you come along to one of the sessions, yeah, completely unique content. You'll hear nothing you won't find any of this online or YouTube, and it will be hopefully a life-changing experience for yourself. But yeah, Carl, I think this probably is my calling. Yeah.
You mentioned earlier when you were talking about mastering the big three and how there's similarities between pitching and networking in terms of skill sets. I mean, I know there are some people that turn up to Shropshire business networking events where they have to stand up and do their 60-second pitch, and they won't sleep the night before. Does somebody who's good at pitching automatically become good at networking, or is it the other way round, or how does it work? How can you tackle the nerves, or should there still be nerves of doing a good pitch?
Well, one of the groups that's most marginalized in business, both in pitching and networking, are introverts. And as I said a moment ago, I have that in my character. I will be very quiet and shy at particular times in my life when I'm required to be. There is a natural advantage that if you are extrovert, you will feel perhaps that you can go and make an approach to people a bit more easily, that you can network more easily. You have that skill. But there are methods as an introvert that you can use when you network, and they're methods that I will teach you. The skill sets are the same in that you're talking to strangers. You should feel nervous when you're doing that. If you don't, you're unusual here. So the idea that people will find it stressful pitching, people will find it stressful networking, I'm going to meet strangers, that's completely normal. Most people in the room will feel that. And once you start trying a few little techniques, that will just boost you. And then I think, Carl, really, it's about anything we're scared of. You mentioned about you wouldn't kayak down the River Severn because you felt it was unsafe. If I took you and we did it 2 or 3 times, the fear would go. The fear is that of the unknown. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes.
It sounds like it's going to be a great event. And if anybody wants to find out more about you, what you do, where can you signpost them to? Where do they go?
So if you put in Peter the Speaker, you'll find me. You'll find my website. You'll find me on LinkedIn. Alternatively, you can email me. And I do this weird thing. And anyone in the audience, try me on this. If you email me, and if you're polite and kind, I do a weird thing. I email you back every time. So try me on that. My email address is really easy to remember. So it's pete@peterthespeaker.com. So pete@peterthespeaker.com. Email me on that. and see how long it takes me to reply to you. As long as I'm not sleeping, traveling, or speaking, I will reply, and I'd love to hear from you. I'll tell you about my next gigs as well. I'm going to be in the Birmingham area. I'm in Worcester. I'm going to be in various parts of the country. So if you want to see me come and speak, my events are always free. So join in, come to an early session, and if you love it, then sign up to the others.
Or stand on the side of the River Severn near Montford Bridge and keep your eyes peeled at some point, presumably. They'll spot you then as well.
But I will be on my introvert side, my nice side. So that's when I'm not necessarily approaching people and being this extrovert Pete. So yeah, you can come and find me then. But you will interact with the quieter, shyer Pete when that happens.
Well, listen, great to catch up with you. I started by talking to you about Dragon's Den, so let me finish with that. And I know this is spoiler alert for anybody that hasn't caught up and seen it. It went quite well for you, didn't it, 5 or 6 years ago? How's the journey gone since?
So yeah, it did go very well actually. So I got the offer investment from Deborah Meaden, and the product had just launched. Right, I'd launched 2 products actually that week, and after the show, I spoke to Deborah, and she sent me really quite a nice email. She said, "Pete, what are you going to use this money for? You don't need me, do you? I mean, you've got your product, you're in Pets at Home, you're growing. What am I going to do but take your cash?" So she sort of said, you don't need me, do you? And I said, well, not really, but thanks for the offer. So we didn't continue, that relationship didn't continue after the Den. But what then happened in my journey is I find that creativity was my thing. So having designed this product, I was asked to go and speak at various business events. And I went in ripped jeans and a t-shirt. I really wasn't that bothered, but I thought, yeah, I'll go to a few organizations that have helped me out. And I started talking about business, how I created a product, how I was able to pitch and memorize my script. And the audience, which were new start businesses or early stage in their business, were hooked. I know from having been a stand-up comedian, if an audience are with me, they'll see it. And they were really so with me. And after the event, people were coming up to me and talking to me. And I left on the train from Birmingham, where I'd done my very first 10 minutes. And it was the most amazing thing I've done in my business life that month. And I thought, why am I doing anything else? I'm going to focus on creating the most brilliant business workshops that the world has ever seen. And it'll be for you guys if you want to come along and tell me if I've actually achieved that. But I hope that any of you I do see at my courses, these will be some of the best business workshops that you'll ever attend.
Fabulous. Absolutely great. Well, if we were to be sat here maybe in 2, 3, 5 years' time chatting, what would you hope to have achieved by then? Is there any particular things you've still got on your bucket list then? Or
yeah, I mean, the thing is, there's so many things really. I'm constantly trying to improve my workshops. So every single time I improve the slides, I improve the props, I improve the training. For me as a business, I hopefully this will chime with a lot of people here in the business journey, is I'd like to be able to pick and choose who and where I work. That would be amazing. So I'd love, the idea that I've got a gig in Shrewsbury, that's like amazing. I really went for that, and I chased that and made that happen. So I suppose in business, mine is to have the freedom. So I can choose the gigs that I go to. I can work with the audience, the lovely audiences I can keep speaking to, and still have the time left over to go kayaking down the River Severn from Montford Bridge to Shrewsbury whenever I want. That would be my ideal lifestyle,
That sounds like a good work-life balance to me. Thank you so much for your time, Pete. Great to catch up with you and see you again. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Carl. All the best. See you again.
So there we go. The Shropshire Chamber 2024 Business Awards have been officially unveiled. Entries are now open, so do get involved. Have you enjoyed it?
It's been amazing. What a fantastic night. The energy in the room, it's been really, really good.
So what does the rest of the year have in store for you? Thank you so much for being our co-presenter on the show this year. I mean, this has been a fact-finding visit for you, hasn't it? Finding out about different corners of Shropshire as well.
Absolutely, and finding out about different businesses that I didn't actually know about. This night has been really, really good for me. They're very eye-opening. I've enjoyed it a lot.
What's next for Sian then?
So I've got a few more presenting and hosting opportunities coming up, and I do quite a lot of cheerleading and dance judging, so I'm going all around the country doing that, and a few meetings in the pipeline, so fingers crossed that will all come good.
Top secret things you can't tell me about now, you mean? Like
Not
that.
yet. You'll be the first to know, though.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this edition of Shropshire Business Live TV. We will be back in February, out and about again with another exciting event coming your way from Bridge North. But we'll leave you with some comments from some of the businesses who were at this awards event when Sian went out and about and mingled with the audience.
And I'm here with Paul from McPhillips, who has won Company of the Year in the past. And I'd love to get a little bit of information from you about how you feel the awards have helped you and shaped your business.
Okay. Well, we're at Shropshire Business. We've been a Shropshire Business for 60 years, and we're proud to be a Shropshire Business. And it's fantastic to see, cohorts in the room tonight, and Shropshire represented so well. So that's what it's all about to me.
And will you be entering anything this year?
I've got to remain tight-lipped about that, but being a 60-year-old business, I think we really ought to do something.
That is amazing. So you're not going to give anything away right now as to what you might be entering?
Well, there's a award that sits at the top of the pile that we've won before, so maybe it's appropriate that we consider that one for sure.
And has tonight been helpful to sort of come and meet other businesses? Have you found the launch has been a really good time to get together with other Shropshire businesses?
Absolutely, because it's one of the few times that we have the opportunity to do so.
And you'll be there in June?
We certainly will.
All the best. I hope you have a really, really successful year.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Okay.
We're doing some filming for Shropshire Business Live TV. Could we just get a little bit of information about you guys and your business?
Hi there, my name's Pippa. I run a company called Sales Geek in Shropshire.
And are you here because you're hoping to enter this year?
To what, sorry?
Are you here because you're going to be entering the awards this year?
I'm not this year. I may be judging, you'll see.
Oh, brilliant. Do you know what category?
It'll be about the business growth.
Oh, fabulous. And are you here as a judge or as an attendee?
Just an attendee, just to learn a little bit more about it. So, yeah, it's fantastic.
What's your business?
I work for MFG Solicitors, so I'm an employment lawyer.
Fabulous. And can I ask you what's your name and what's your business?
So my name's Lisa Freudman. I am a one-man band, but my business helps people to be more sustainable. So I'm a consultant working in sustainability and strategy and comms. I've been really fascinated to see. I'm fairly new to Shropshire, so I'm enjoying seeing what's happening and learning more about the awards.
And do you think this is something you might enter this year or in the next few years?
I think maybe it's one for the future for me because I'm fairly new to the area, like I say, so I just kind of want to see how the land lies to start off with, but definitely one for the future.
Oh, well, thank you very much, ladies. Thank you. Okay, so I'm here with two lovely attendees. Can you tell me your name and the business that you are here representing?
Yeah, my name's Richard Hughes from Crispian.
And what kind of business is that?
We supply office furniture and office stationery.
Okay, and are you applying for anything this year?
We will be, yeah. We applied last year and got shortlisted, but we didn't win, so we've got to have another go this year, yeah.
And are you going for the same category, or are you going to mix it up?
We haven't quite decided yet. We'll have a look at the criteria and then decide, so yeah.
And has tonight been useful? Has it been helpful to come along here and hear about the business launch?
Absolutely, it has been. Patrick Ricketts, SG for Business. I'm a business advisor. I'm one of the new judges, and I'll be judging the growth category. And this is an opportunity for me to give back in an area I've lived for 30 years and never really contributed. Now, an opportunity to look at these businesses and encourage people to go for this award. So that's what I've been doing today, is encourage people to go for whichever category they think they're eligible for.
And will you be entering anything, or are you purely here as a judge?
Purely here as a judge.
Well, all the best, good luck, and enjoy your judging.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so I'm here with some of our sponsors. So can you tell me the business and why it is you've decided to sponsor this event?
Yeah, so hi, we're from WR Partners, accountants, business advisors and tax advisors. So we are sponsoring an event that's, an award that's, I think it was 5 years ago, the last time it was, so the Hospitality, Retail and Leisure Award, I think it's called. Really looking forward to sponsoring that. It's an area that we're really interested in, and I think from a community perspective, it's really good to give back to the community and important to sponsor awards.
And have you guys ever entered the awards? Has this been something you've entered in the past?
We have, 2 years ago, we had one of our Actually, he's just been recently promoted to director, one of our youngest directors, but he came as runner-up as the young business person. So yeah, it was a really good night, and I know he didn't win, but it was really inspirational for all of us as well, and he did so well to sort of push, and now that he's got that director position within the business, he can inspire the sort of younger generations coming through as well.
And have you enjoyed the launch tonight? Has it been a fun night?
Yeah, it's been a great night to actually meet other businesses, anyone else who's going to actually be attending the awards, so I think it'll be fantastic night in June, that's for sure.
Oh, well, thank you very much, and thank you for sponsoring as well.